Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the vlog. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. We are back with the Ram TRX doing some very fun mods today and reviewing some products. And I do want to thank everybody that watches all of my videos. The support is so greatly appreciated, especially from Geese Squad, which are new to the channel. They're joining us today for the very first time. But in today's video, we're going to be doing a lot of parts install. So let me show you what I got. So we have a lot of wire, we have a lot of lights, we have a lot more lights, we have some more lights, and then we have some more lights, and then that one's just really funny. You guys are going to get a good laugh out of that box. But the first thing that I am going to install and review is actually the Caterpillar tonneau cover, and so I actually went ahead and purchased a tonneau cover for the Ram TRX. I'm relatively cheap, I like working on a budget, and this tonneau cover for around $320 I think is one of the better bargain deals out there for a tonneau cover, so we're going to install that today. I'll give my general impressions and review the Caterpillar tonneau cover. I grew up around a ton of die-hard Ford fans who also had a ton of Caterpillar stickers on the back of their windshields as they towed their John Deeres. And it's a great price point for a budget tonneau cover, and you guys know I like to do it cheap and on a budget, so we are going to go ahead and install this roughly $320 tonneau cover today on the Ram TRX. And once I'm done with the tonneau cover, I'll kind of just walk through some of the light installs that we're going to do, how much of it I actually get done today. It's my first day off in probably 4 months. So let's see what kind of crazy things we can do on my day off. Alright, and the last must-do mod that we're going to be doing today is we're actually doing an Emblems decal right here. So this little inner lip, we're going to get a decal put on that's going to be reflective white. And depending on how this comes out, I'll let you guys know how it goes and what my thoughts and impressions are on whether this is a good mod to do. It just adds a little bit of kind of pop to the front end by giving a little contrast. And I'll go over all the details once I do that mod, along with all the other mods I'll kind of go over in today's video, so stay tuned for that. So that box is actually the hood liner, as you can see on this side. I'm actually missing the hood liner in half from the factory. I just installed this one on this side over here. There's about 7 fasteners that hold it in. And they're one-time use fasteners, so when you get it out, they do break. So I ended up getting 6 of them, and unfortunately I think I need 7 total. And they're about $5 a pop, plus the hood liner itself was like $35 or $40. Now I do expect to get reimbursed from Ram. Because this was an early 2021 build, it seems like this is probably one of those quality defects where if you look, the clips are actually in place. So they put in all 7 clips without the hood liner, which is pretty ridiculous if you ask me. But again, early 2021s did have issues. So I think it's just kind of funny. In terms of the tonneau cover, very easy to install. You just want to lay it down and then fold it out. There's 2 fasteners. I won't do an install how-to because again, it's very simple. So there's just 2 fastener rivets on the far end, and then there you have these 2 clamps to open and close the top. Super easy to open. You can just do it with one hand, and then this folds up. And it is cool to see that they give you these tie down points, which are in Caterpillar yellow, which is a pretty cool color in my opinion. I'd love somebody to actually paint an entire car this color someday. But you can tie down your toe straps or your ratchet straps on here so they're more snug and secure. Overall, it's a very good cover. Again, very simple and easy to install. And for a budget tonneau cover, I think this is the better route. They make the low pro tonneau covers, which I'm not a huge fan of because over time they degrade much quicker. These kind of trifold covers have the aluminum frame, so it has an aluminum frame that runs bars across the length of the bed going horizontal, as well as an aluminum frame on the outside, so you're not stretching to velcro or strap anything on the edges. Which means the only degradation over time is that once this material gets a little bit more loose, you're going to have more wind noise if you have that rear window open, but for the most part you're going to have a secure tonneau cover that so far has been waterproof for me. Perfect example on the F350. This was a similarly priced like mid 200s a couple years ago, so it's probably higher 200s now. But these rails with these low pro tonneau covers, over time the vinyl becomes very brittle and dries up, and then effectively I can just throw out this tonneau cover after maybe 4 years of use. Whereas the trifold with the aluminum frame won't have that issue since it's snug and fit, but you do get a little bit less of a bed opening when you do the trifold, which isn't necessarily bad because it is pretty easy to take out. It's not that cumbersome, like some of those low profile hard tonneau covers that are more secure but have more complicated install process. Additionally, down here I fabbed up some custom brackets with the help of a friend of mine. I still have to paint them. This is more of just like a test fit. But I hooked up some really nice bright cubes. I do lose a hair of ground clearance below this, but again, it's still higher than the spare tire, so I don't off-road that much. So I'm kind of okay with this setup, and it provides a ton of light when you're backing up at night, which with tinted windows is a huge plus. I'll put in some footage of these lights in action at night. But before I put in that footage, I also installed some rock lights in the wheel wells, which I think just adds a cool little ambiance effect for car shows and parking lots at night. And just like that, the heat shield is installed. Huge shout out to the subscriber that pointed that out during the intake install video. Absolutely loved the intake, and they noticed that I was missing that or it looked different, and I honestly just didn't even pick up on it. So one letter is on and it came out really nice. Huge shout out to Attention to Detail in Dennis, Mass. They're doing a perfect job kind of placing the fitment and getting it right so I don't screw it up myself. It's almost a near perfect fit. I think it's really hard to get the exact placement, but they did a really great job just getting all the edges and lining right. And an XPEL shop obviously has the tools and the eye to kind of get it right, but this is really easy to do yourself. And taking a step back, I mean, just look at what it pops. And this is a little reflective in nature, so at night headlights are going to reflect off of this a little bit and give it a little bit more of a glow. But you can get it in a multitude of colors. I highly recommend considering body color. You can get hydro blue or any of the other TRX body colors, or doing red so it matches the decals on the hood for the 6.2 liter. But I think white's going to look really good, so let's get the other letters on. Alrighty guys, so all the mods are done. It's a little windy, so hopefully the audio is still somewhat decent. So unfortunately one of the rock lights in the front from the kit wasn't working, so I kind of just mounted it but didn't find out until after I ran all the wires in. And so I disconnected two of the fronts until I get a replacement for one of the fronts, so it doesn't look kind of, you know, messed up where one side's got two and one side's got one. Now I did get both running in the rear, so it creates this nice little pattern underneath and it gives you good illumination. Now I don't do a ton of nighttime driving, but I like the ability to see all the suspension pieces cast a shadow. I'm not a heavy off-roader, and so what that means is I don't necessarily need the rock lights for rocks, but I do sand trails and beach trails. So sometimes if I'm out there on the water late at night and I'm coming back and the sand trails are dark, the rock lights are actually very, very helpful to kind of illuminate the side area, since the TRX doesn't have the side spotlights that the Raptor was famous for. And I'm sure all of you can see, look at the Ram emblems on the grille. I will link the product in the description below. I'm not partnered with them or know them in any way. I paid the same price that you all will if you choose to do this mod. Now the reflective color obviously sets it off a lot more, but the camera I think exemplifies a little bit of what the reflection looks like. It definitely is pronounced and noticeable, but not as much as the camera kind of makes it seem. So it's really nice actually. I think that came out really nice. By far the best must-do mod for the Ram TRX. You can get a non-reflective version that matches the truck if you want to do hydro blue or some other color, but if you have a white truck, I think reflective is the perfect way to go. And so taking a look back, again, it just kind of sets the presence of the truck apart at night significantly more. All these mods are just kind of little tiny mods, but I still think they look really cool. And then coming around to the back, so the factory reverse lights are not at play, but you can see how much light that these two cubes cast. These are flood pattern lights and not spots, and they're corner marker lights, so they kind of illuminate a wider view left to right. Spots are great for the front, but I prefer floods in the rear because it's more spread light over a closer range, as opposed to kind of projecting further. When you're traveling forward, you kind of want spotlights, but since you're traveling faster going forward, but in reverse, floods are great. But overall, I think the truck came out really good. I like the functionality of the reverse lights. They're hooked up to my AUX 2 switch, so if you want to know how the switches work, I'll link a video to Catch Me Off-Road's channel down in the description below. He's fantastic at outlining how the upfitter switches work. I think the rock lights look really good. Again, people have different tastes. Some people will say that the rock lights don't look good, but I think they look really good. And I don't really drive around on the streets with it like this, but with the two additional front lights, I think it's going to light up the front end really nice. And I do just really love seeing all the suspension components create that spiderweb effect underneath the truck. The Raptor looked really, really good. And to date, that is the thumbnail for the YouTube channel that you are on today. So if you enjoyed this video, definitely go ahead and give it a big old thumbs up. If you have not already, definitely go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you have any questions about the mods we did today, definitely leave them down in the comment section below. And until then, I look forward to seeing all of you in the comment section below.